We've all hit that point when we're training and we just aren't seeing the gains that we used to. Hey, Dr. Jess here. Today I'm going to explain how stretching is actually how you're going to get the improvement in your strength training. The concept I'm going to talk about is called the muscle length tension relationship. It's a lot of words, I know. However, the concept is actually not that hard. When we think about our muscle fibers, they overlap like so. We've got actin and myosin. So when they overlap and they start to push together like that, that's a muscle contraction. And then they come back to this resting length. So this is what would be considered a normal resting length of the muscle. So I've got plenty of room for that power output out of the muscle, and then I'm going to come back to here. Now, when a muscle gets short and tight, that resting length looks different. So now the resting length looks like it's here. So when you contract that muscle, boom, there's less overlap for the power of those muscle fibers. And then when you come back to that resting length, it's here. So how do we get this to change? I want my length to be here. That's stretching. When we stretch muscles and we hold for a duration of time, at least 30 seconds to a minute, we're actually going to start to change the length of the muscle. That length gives us better power, and that's directly how we're going to get our training to get to that next level when we're putting in the reps. Here I'm going to give you 2 examples of how you can think about stretching to be the most effective. So when we're stretching a muscle, we want to think about where that muscle runs in the body and which joints it crosses. So our quads, for example, the muscles in the front of our thigh, that goes across the knee and the hip. So when I stretch the muscle, I want to think about bending the knee and moving the hip so that I stretch the muscle through both sides. Otherwise, all I'm doing is stretching the muscle from one direction. I'm not going to get as much length out of it, or I stretch the muscle from the other direction. So the example I'm going to give is going to show you how to get the most length out of that muscle by stretching from both sides. So when I stretch my quads, a lot of people will stand and stretch and just hold and bend just the knee. But that's not extending the hip. So I'm not going to get the most out of that stretch. Instead, I'm going to come down into a half kneel position. I'm going to go ahead and bend that knee. And then I'm going to make sure that my hip extends in that stretch. Now I'm going to feel the stretch up higher into the quadricep and all the way through that muscle belly. That's going to give me more effectiveness out of that stretch, which then gives me improved length, which gives me improved power out of that quadricep. The next example I'm going to give to really make sure that you're maximizing your performance is going to be your tricep. So that is going to help to bend the elbow, but it also crosses the shoulder. So I could stretch my tricep just by bending the elbow, and I'm going to get some stretch. I'm pulling from one direction, but I can also take my hand here and I'm going to pull my shoulder further back, and that amount of motion is what's going to give me the length all the way through to the attachment of my tricep down here. So when I'm going to hold that stretch, making sure I don't feel pain, but I really feel the pull down the muscle belly, and I'm going to hold for at least 30 seconds, and I can hold up to a minute, that's totally fine, and then I'm going to take a break, stretch the other side, and then repeat twice, and that's going to give me, again, I'm looking for that length as much as I can to then give me that power output. Boom. So when I'm doing my strengthening, it's going to mean more and I'm going to get those improved results. If you have a question about any of these concepts, leave a comment below. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new to this channel. If you like this kind of information to really learn how to maximize the time that you're spending exercise with the results that you're going to get, I've got a course series built out. In the episode description, hit the link to learn more.